What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're gonna talk about Cosmic Crucible, Alliance Wars, Arena, Raids. We're gonna cover which are the characters you should be investing in order for you to be successful, and this means that at least you should have them at level 100 plus gear tier 19 and maybe start to consider to push some of these guys to gear tier 20 in the future, right? We're also going to talk about the teams that absolutely died with the release of Overpowered, which was a major change to the game, and unfortunately it really killed a lot of teams. Some of the teams we're going to talk about that still matter, you can still play them around if you have the proper speed or combo in order for you to do that, but you have to be a lot more careful. Now, something we are not going to cover in this video is which characters you should invest Overpowered. That's a list for another day. And now we're just gonna talk which are the best characters for you to invest in order to be successful in Marvel Strike Force in June of 2025, right? And we're also gonna, like I said, we're also gonna cover a few of the teams that died and a few of the characters that veteran players use in order to have massive advantage when it comes to pretty much Cosmic Crucible, because that's the only game that has any variety throughout the year. Okay, so as always, if you guys like the information on these videos, make sure you share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Okay, so if you want to be an absolute boss in Marvel Strike Force and be successful in Battle World, Alliance Wars, Cosmic Crucible, and also in the epic campaigns and raids, Arena, all the game modes that we have going on. We have the roguelike game mode coming up soon, but I think the characters that we're going to use there are just going to be the same characters we will use everywhere right now, so that's not going to really change anything. Okay, let's jump into the tier list. This is not really a normal tier list like most people do. This is in terms of investment. This is not like this character is better than that character. These are characters that are important for you to get at a certain level. Like I said, at least gear tier 19, at least level 100 or maybe 105 in order for you to be successful in all game modes. So we're gonna start off with the Mythicals, right? Mythicals, we have Professor X, we have Mephisto, Odin, and Null. I know that Null is not a real Mythical. I hope at some point Scopely gives him the mythical tag, because it does not make any sense that Null is not mythical. And these are the 4 characters that right now are really game changing. Mephisto because he applies that trauma early on with Empowered, Odin because of his battlefield effect, and Null because he actually stops both of them, right? And then we have Professor X, which is a very powerful character that if you let him to take a turn, you are probably gonna have no chance, right? He's the last toy to be released, so of course it has to be part of this list. Now, in terms of mythicals that are falling off, we have Apocalypse, Super Skrull, Dormammu, and Doctor Doom. One thing about this list is that the characters at the left are always more important than the characters at the right. Apocalypse is still very important because of his ultimate and empowered ability, also because he gives HP and damage, while Super Skrull gives HP and resistance, I think, something like that, which is a little bit less relevant. And also because we have so many mechanics nowadays that stop speed bar that unfortunately Super Skrull got the short end of the stick. Let's be honest, he got shafted, and because of that he's not getting as much use as he was getting in the past, especially on defense in Alliance Wars, in Cosmic Crucible. But he's still very strong when you know for sure which teams you can face, right? So we're still going to give some values to Super Skrull. He's not absolutely dead, but he's not the absolute monster that he was in the past. Let's talk about the Cosmic Crucible meta, because right now Cosmic Crucible is the most important game mode, as it is the game mode where you get the most or the highest amount of gear tier 20. Throughout the week, Cosmic Crucible will pay you more, especially if you are at high ranks like Masters, compared to Raids and compared to Alliance Wars. And yes, Alliance Wars got their rewards updated, and now they also provide you intel, which once again will allow you to get gear tier 20 and character shards for the latest characters. Okay, so obviously, Cosmic Crucible meta, we're gonna have the Star Gemmers, we're gonna have Immortal X-Men, and we're gonna have Illuminati. Yes, Illuminati is still somewhat powerful, not always, and especially not against characters with overpowered. I had a situation where Lady Deathstrike completely killed my entire team with Illuminati, but yeah, it's not always the case, right? It's not always the case. Now, something that you might find surprising here is that we still have Sinister Six, at least the 3-piece Sinister Six, Green Goblin Vulture +1, is still very powerful, it's still very useful, and you can make them stronger placing them together with a Mythical or with a Legendary. So, or whether it is Apocalypse or Old Man Logan or Super Scroll, they can still counter a lot of teams because they will counter any team with speed up, right? And then we have Phoenix Force, which is, for now, 2-character team, but they are very powerful, they are very beefy, at least on normal form. Phoenix form, Dark Phoenix form is absolute trash, but at least on the normal form, these characters are very powerful, and you can pair them up with pretty much anyone, and they're gonna wreck very, very hard. Now, in terms of characters that are falling off into the Cosmic Crucible meta, we have the other Sinister Six. Mysterio can still be useful against characters with immunity, and Lizard can be useful against characters that are from the Spider-Verse tag, but beyond that, Dr. Octopus is really falling off, and Craven is still strong against characters that can revive, but because of overpowered, because of the stats increase that we had recently, it's gonna be more and more difficult to make sure that Craven works properly. You could still use him with a Cabal or something like that, but it's not the case. We'll talk about Cabal in a second. They are just not on a Cosmic Crucible tier list or in the investment area because they are required for legendaries, and when they are required for legendaries, they have their own group, right? In terms of new warriors, I think, in my opinion, new warriors are absolutely dead. Except Deadpool. You can still use Deadpool with Mercs for Money in Alliance Wars, but everyone else is pretty much dead. I mean, you can still use them as a cleanup team, but even so, I would not recommend if you are a new player. If you're a veteran player, you can still play with them, but I would not invest gear tier 20 or even level 105 on them. Kang, Titania, and Absorbing Man. Kang is still absolute meta for sure. Titania, every now and then it's okay when you need Kang to have more health. Absorbing Man is absolutely dead. Is as useful as Drax at this point in time. So keep that in mind. If you're not using Absorbing Man with Titania and Kang, it's probably irrelevant or as relevant as Drax. Then we have Spider Weaver and 2099. You can still use these guys on offense. Spider Weaver can kinda soft counter Odin. It's not easy, but it's possible. And yeah, I mean, they can still get some play, especially because they are a 2-person team. And that opens a lot of possibilities, right? So it's something useful that you should have in your pocket, but you don't want to overinvest. You don't want to give them gear tier 20. And even level 105 is something that it should not be on your priority, right? On your priority list. Now, in terms of raids, I think this is not going to be surprising, but you want to invest on Thunderbolts. You need them for the bio raid team. Unfortunately, Songbird is not a mutant. She should be a mutant, or at least dual tag mutant bio. It's not the case, but okay. Then we have the Vigilantes, which are okay, I guess. They can be useful against some Mephisto teams, especially in Alliance Wars. Mephisto with, for example, Night Stalkers. But you need to have a big boy Daredevil. If your Daredevil is not big enough, they are not gonna survive, and you need the full team. If you don't have the 5 people from the team, if one of them dies, all their passives stop working, which is absolute trash. But yeah, that's how Scopely designed them. It's really lame. Then we have Night Stalkers. They are still absolutely amazing. I would leave behind Moon Knight because he's kind of whatever. The investment, like I said, it should be from the left to the right, so the investment should be like this. And the Moon Knight, you probably should not even touch him. And in terms of the Sentinels, you kind of want to make sure that your Nimrod and your Sentinel is big, then Lady Strike, then Omega Sentinel, and then Scientist Supreme. Scientist Supreme, I know that many people take her to level 105, even giving her gear tier 20, but it's really not necessary. Like, she doesn't do anything apart from her ultimate, so keep that in mind. Now, in terms of raids falling off, of course, Extreme X-Men are falling off. You can still use Nightcrawler with Professor X, you can still use Gambit with Professor X. The other two, not as much, and they are the easiest part in the raids, right? So they are gonna be useful for a while, but you don't want to overinvest. Invest as much as you need and move on, because we should have a new team not so soon, maybe in like 6 months or so, when you get like a more difficult raid. But this is what we have for now. Other raid that we should have in 6 months is the Spotlight raid, where the Alpha Flight is going to get retired. And from how it works is like we have Spider Society and Alpha Flight, then Alpha Flight and Uncanny Avengers. And then we'll have Uncanny Avengers and a future team. And this is when this team is going to get retired. And they are still somewhat useful in Alliance Wars on defense, but that's pretty much it. It's very hard to find a use for them in other game modes, especially when they have such mediocre stats outside of Alliance Wars. Let's talk about Alliance Wars. Now we have Absolute A-Force, which is still an absolute beast. Scopely really wants us to use this team on offense. They give us 30% more stats if you use them on offense, so they become absolute beasts, especially Kaori and Miss Marvel Classic, that are absolute monsters. And Medusa, like bro, Medusa sometimes she can one-shot characters with over 15 million health, so it's very impressive. You definitely want to invest on this trio. The other two, invest as much as you need, and that's it. Gear T19 level 100 maybe, and not much more than that. In terms of the Liberty, they are very strong. They are way better than people thought they would be. And Falcon and Captain Sam, they can even be useful in Arena, in Cosmic Crucible, in other game modes. You just have to make sure that we are facing characters that are faster than yours, and that's pretty much it. Okay, let's talk about the next characters. We still have Quasar right here. Quasar is a new legendary. He doesn't really require awakened abilities, but he's gonna be a game changer with awakened abilities. But those awakened abilities are usually $35 each, so that's gonna be $100 just on awakened abilities. It's up to you to decide if it's worth it or not. I don't think it's worth it, but keep that in mind. Then we have the Mighty Avengers, and the Mighty Avengers, they are also Uncanny Avengers. That means they are also useful in raids, so you strongly are recommended to invest on Hercules, Falcon. The other three, not as much. They are kind of garbage, but you can get some use out of them in Alliance Wars. On offense. On defense, they don't work. Then we have the Mercs for Money with Deadpool. Like I said, Deadpool still has some relevancy in Alliance Wars with this team. And then we have Erish. Depending on the team, if you're using Erish, for example, with a fast team, like Sinister Six or like Illuminati, he can still be useful. His problem is that he's just too slow, so keep that in mind when you are investing on him. You don't really want to invest on a character that is not gonna take turns, right? So Gear T19 level 100 max, and go from there. And then we have the Undying. We're gonna get the last Undying member this year, so it will finally be a 5-man team. And they are very strong. They are still very strong. They're gonna be even stronger by October, by my birthday. And that's gonna be cool, because everyone loves Undying, right? Now, in terms of Alliance Wars falling off, but still decent, we have Weapon X with Lady Strike. This team still claps, even with their outdated stats, because of Omega Red stealing the health of the enemies. So it doesn't matter how much you increase the stats, if you are stealing the stats, well, you're always going to win. And then we have X23, that she really claps, and she's very useful because of her evades and also her ability block with very high focus chance, bypassing, evade, and also deflect, so she can be very, very useful. Silver Samurai, he has pretty much unavoidable stun with his ultimate, and Sabertooth, he has 1000 focus to apply Disrupt against protected heroes, but that's pretty much it. Then you still have the A-Force, not the absolute A-Force, just the normal A-Force with Photon, and they're still very strong. They are still holding value because Photon gives a lot of speed ups, she applies blind to the enemies, and that allows them to bypass the difference in stats compared to the new meta. In terms of the Underworld, they are still relevant. Of course, be careful with your investments. You want to invest on Taskmaster, Mr. Negative, and Kingpin. The other two, not as much. And this is a team that is still very strong in Alliance Wars because, once again, we have blinds. So, Photon, the Underworld, they are useful because they have blinds. Okay, we're going to talk about Battle World. There is only one team for Battle World, is Astral. You use Astral, you press Auto, and you win. That's it. For Legendary Unlocks, we need the Annihilators, which are useful in Alliance Wars, Cosmic Crucible, Arena. So this is still a team you want to invest, except on Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is just there to unlock their passives, and that's pretty much it. And now with the female Silver Surfer coming to the MCU, then I don't think this guy is going to get any reworks, let's be honest. Black Knight still absolute meta and also a legendary unlock requirement. The other four, just invest as much as it's needed to get your legendaries unlock. You can still use them in Alliance Wars, don't get me wrong, they are still powerful in Alliance Wars, but not as much, and especially on offense, that's the only way you can use them. Then we have the Emma Frost, we have Loki. Invest as much as you need. You only need them to be alive, so level 75 it's enough. And then Cabal. Cabal is still great for Alliance Wars, Cabal is still great for Cosmic Crucible, and they also unlock a legendary. That's why they have their own spot on this list. Beyond that, useful characters or useful teams, we have Spider Society, we have the Infinity Watch, and we have Symbiotes, and we have Secret Defenders. These teams every now and then can still be useful in Alliance Wars on offense or on defense, or even in Cosmic Crucible on very specific room situations. So watch out, you don't really want to overinvest on these teams. Level 100 Gear Tier 19 at most, and beyond that, be very, very careful. And finally, we have Clutch Champions. These are champions that in very specific situations, veteran players usually can use them to have an advantage. We have Echo and Morgan Le Fay that stop assists. We have Red Hulk that speed ups Apocalypse. We have Void Knight that ability blocks and put together a bunch of characters. We have Sibyl or Kestrel that stops summons. Quicksilver that does Quicksilver things. This guy goes fast. Moon, Stone, she rewinds and she applies a lot of stun. American Chavez, she only needs to be level 1 or something, level 64 to unlock her passive to get speed bar in Alliance Wars. Hawkeye for the turning wind. We have Proxima Midnight for the turn 1 stun in Cosmic Crucible when you have a specific room, and then Drax for the pre-town. That's it. We could also put here Red Guardian. I forgot to put Red Guardian here. We could also use Nick Fury. And the teams that, in my opinion, absolutely died this year, it was Gamma. I think Gamma is absolutely dead. No reason to invest on Gamma. The same goes for Wakanda. Wakanda absolutely dead. Maybe against very, very small teams in Alliance Wars, you could still use them. And finally, we have the New Avengers. Yes, New Avengers, in very, very specific situations, they can still beat one team in Alliance Wars, but their stats is just so bad that it doesn't really matter. We can also talk about Nowhere. Nowhere, they can beat a few teams actually, but the team is just so bad overall that if you're not a veteran player, I would strongly not recommend you to invest in them. So yeah guys, that's the list. These are all the characters that right now matter. Let me know in the comments below if you want to add the Gamma and these other secondary teams that don't really matter anymore, or if it's good as it is. These are the characters that will definitely crush every game mode in Marvel Strike Force and allow you to be successful in all game modes. for June of 2025. There is some changes coming. I don't think they're gonna be impactful, but not like super crazy, or at least I hope we will see. But we have new teams coming, and especially a Battle World coming in the future as well. So we might see another Astral team. We might see another arena team like the Annihilators. So expect a new Annihilators, a new Astral, and also a new Alpha Flight like team as well. So that's gonna be the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree. And as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure to share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Mouse Force content. And I'll catch you guys later.